news that could ultimately shake up those standings, right? As our senior NBA insider, Charania, is here. We're looking at the Eastern Conference this morning. Shams, what can you tell us?
So 2 weeks ago, I reported that the Heat are open to listening to trade offers for Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Now there's some line drawn in this sand. There's been an escalation in this situation.
Okay.
Sources tell me Butler prefers a trade out of Miami ahead of the NBA trade deadline, February 6th. The Suns, Warriors are atop his preferred win-now destination. While he's made it known that he's prepared for his exit out of Miami in league circles, this isn't Minnesota. This is not a situation where we're going to see unprofessionalism. He has been professional this season, but there is not an urgency right now, from my understanding, in talks that the Heat are having, but other teams expect to engage with Miami ahead of the deadline.
Very interesting. So Jimmy Butler has led the Heat to 2 finals and Eastern Conference finals in 5 years. He's called playoff Jimmy for a reason. How exactly did we get here?
This has unraveled over the last several months, and it really started with in the offseason. There was no extension for Jimmy Butler. They bypassed that, did not extend him, and they've leaned more into their young core, rising core of Bam Adebayo, their all-star, and Tyler Hero. And over the last 3 years, Jimmy Butler has wanted the Heat to go get him some help in that roster. They just have not been able to land players. They've gone after Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving. They have not been able to land that next big fish with Jimmy Butler. The writing, in a lot of ways, is on the wall for the Heat and for Jimmy Butler.
And you've reported the chatter of this over the last several weeks, but you're saying now this is an escalation. He wants out of Miami. So where should he want to go? Who should
Well, first things first, I'd like to touch on something.
Okay.
There are legitimate reasons why he wants out. I mean, when you look at what Miami has brought to the table, the organization is first class. We get all of that. And I think Kevin Durant could have, if he had landed there, that would have been an ideal landing spot for him in terms of the structure, the cohesiveness, the leadership that they have from the top on down. He could have benefited from that, but that's not what happened. To answer the question directly, I think Phoenix would be an ideal spot for Jimmy Butler because let's call it what it is. The Phoenix Suns are incredibly talented, but in the eyes of a lot of people in the NBA, they're also incredibly soft. They lack toughness. They have greatness in Kevin Durant. They have greatness in Devin Booker, but they're not considered rough riders. If you get physical with them, you can challenge them mentally. You can compromise them to such a degree. That's the word that is out about them in NBA circles. You know they can score on anybody, but that toughness is an issue. That gets eradicated if Jimmy Butler rolls up in that locker room. Instantly, he roll up in there, knowing what he could do in the postseason, knowing how he'll get in people's face and hold them accountable. You won't hear any questions about Phoenix's toughness if Jimmy Butler arrives.
Well, you know who last season, who said that it was time for Jimmy and the Miami Heat to part ways?
You. Is this
yours truly?
Is this your victory lap?
Last season who called me crazy at one point? Me? My brother Stephen A.
It was me.
Right, and so here we are.
That was last year.
But they still held on for too long. It's Florida. But they held on for too long. Here's the thing. I'm right there with Stephen A. The perfect spot for Jimmy Butler is the Phoenix Suns alongside Kevin Durant.
But wouldn't that require Bradley Beal then waiving his no-trade clause and going to Miami? Should Miami
absolutely.
do that?
Why wouldn't he want to go wiggle his toes in the sand?
He should want to.
Look, he should want to. And I understand Pat Riley is old and stuck in his ways at 79 years of age, pushing 80, and I get it, a legend in the game of basketball. But Jimmy Butler has done more than enough for this franchise, and he should be able to get granted his wishes, especially right now. So when I look at the Phoenix Suns and I'm looking at Kevin Durant, think about Kevin Durant when he's had success in his years of basketball, meaning going to the NBA Finals or completing a mission or winning championships. He's had dogs around him, from Draymond Green to Russell Westbrook to yours truly. But Jimmy Butler brings that dog to the Phoenix Suns. Right now, they're softer than funeral home music. They need a dog.
Or cottonelle tissue, either one works. Here's the point. I was around Pat Riley because I was at the statue unveiling for Dwayne Wade and stuff like that. And I think that Pat Riley gets a bad rap in that regard. Pat Riley's about accountability. Come to work. You get a check. We're paying you. Do your damn job. Period. Jimmy, so I'm not going to knock him for that. And I'm not saying that about Jimmy. I'm just talking about overall the culture that exists in Miami. And in terms of Bradley Beal, hell with that. If anybody should be reticent about going to Miami, it should be Bradley Beal, only from the standpoint, they don't just sit around and tolerate you not being available. He needs to be available, but if he's going to be available, Miami's a good landing spot for him, and he should want to go there.
Jimmy is shooting a career high in field goal percentage, so he is ready to impact a contender. The Miami Heat just haven't been that, at least this season.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Keep them down, try to wear, I pull up long range. Jimmy with the Heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA over ESPN.